So I want to talk about prayer for a moment and challenge I felt recently, compulsion I felt recently, and that is like just being candid. Like I don't have the prayer life like I used to have, and for the last couple of weeks I felt really compelled to start spending time with God. And so when we moved in this house, I told Sean I wanted a beanbag chair, which I haven't had for decades. And the reason I wanted it, I'm sitting in my office, is I wanted to put it here and I wanted it to be the place where I spend time, hang out with God. And so, or pray, and i.e., pray. And so when I got this chair, I started hanging out with God. And immediately I felt compelled to not turn prayer into what I've known it to be before. And normally my prayer life is used the Lord's Prayer as a structure. Our Father who's in heaven, holy is your name, is worship. Your kingdom come, your will be done in my life, in my marriage, and all of that. And I've done that for years and did that for years, like daily. And yet this time when I felt compelled to start developing how it feels to me as a relationship again with God, I immediately was checked to not turn it into something I knew. And one of the things that came to mind is that imagine if you and I hang out every day for the next 7 days. And every time we hang out, I say the exact same thing to you. Or every time we hang out, I ask you for things. And I know that's part of prayer, but it can't be the only part of prayer for me. And I wanted it to be more organic, more, not to sound wooey, but I am hanging out with God. Like I'm putting myself in a place, a posture of humility, a posture of openness, of vulnerability, and all of that. And it's evolving, but I want to share kind of where I've gotten to so far. I've shared this with the men's group that I hang out with on Mondays, and I just feel very compelled, very challenged to let this become something. And where I've landed right now is I read scripture like today, reading in the Psalm, and I landed on Psalm 103. And what I took from that was don't forget, just remember. And so I took that to prayer. That was my guide for the day, to remember. Remember God, remember God's forgiveness, God's blessing, God's mercy, God's grace, God's love, God's power, God's favor, God's goodness, like, and not that rapid fire, but just camp out on it. Like, wow, God, the day I got saved, 1985, and remember, and God walking us through some incredibly difficult times. Remember when God showed up and reflect on that, when God said or did things that they were way, way too big, way too coincidental to just happened. And so I just camped out on remember. I got to the God, can you bless, this, and can you do this, and I need this. But ideally, it was me trying to, by faith, hang out with God. Like my beanbag, my altar represents a place that ideally my spirit will begin to connect. That place is where God is, and that's where I do business with God. Sure, I pray over meals, I pray riding down the road, I do all that stuff. And the last thing I'm looking for right now is an answer in how to pray. Like, and I've already had people like, well, it's this and that. And I don't negate that there are answers. In fact, I've taught these answers numerous times. I've taught the Lord's Prayer numerous times. I've taught ask and seek and knock and seek with your whole heart. I've done all that. And I'm not averse to that or trying to stay away from it as in rebelling against it. It's just, it feels too easy right now to go, oh, because the last thing I think I need in my journey right now is to check the box and me feel better about the ritual of prayer. Because think about it, like if there's an omnipresent God and he's omniscient and he's omnipotent, And prayer is an approach. Prayer is an opportunity to hang out with that being, with that deity. Then why can't it be organic? Why can't it be a little more grassroots, a little more live in each day? Like yesterday's prayer was different than today's prayer. Yesterday's prayer was from the psalm that said, "As the deer pants for the water brook, my soul thirsts for you." And then it says, "When can I meet with the living God again?" And that was my guide. And so I'm just trying to let each day be a thing versus I feel better because I did a spiritual discipline or a ritual. And I've shared this with just a couple people so far, and each one of them, it's just landed somewhere. And so I want to challenge you, like, do you have a beanbag? And I don't mean physically, but maybe you do. One person said God's at the end of their pier. Like where could you begin to solidify or deepen or develop a greater relationship with God that's not crazy wooey and you're not just imagining God said and all of that. Like I'm not leaning that way, but to where you could put yourself in a posture, a place of humility, of openness and vulnerability to the living God who knows all things, and somehow believe, whether it's a minute, whether it's 21 minutes, that whatever that is, it's more of an experience that sometimes is an encounter than it is a ritual, a discipline that you check a box and you're not even sure you did anything other than request a bunch of stuff from him. Oh, and you told him how good he was while you were doing it. I encourage you to camp out on this for a moment and just see where it takes you, see what it says. How I'm doing the reading, by the way, in case this is of value, is one way to read the Psalms is today's date, read that Psalm, then add 30 days, read that Psalm, 30, and then add 30 more, read that one. And tomorrow you start with the date, add 30, add 30, add 30, until you get through the Psalms. And what I've committed to is like Psalm 13, read that first. Yeah, nothing leapt out at me. Okay, read Psalm 43. Psalm 42 yesterday was good. Psalm 43 today, not a lot. 73, not a lot. 103, rock me. And that's the one I camp out on. And of course, 133, I went and read it after I prayed. And it's just a way to hear something from God that seems relevant, seems alive, seems pertinent, seems to speak to you. And so the remember, forget not today was what I took from it. And that's where I lived in that lane today for 10 minutes, and not even trying to like articulate over and over, wow, just ruminate, be quiet. Because again, if you're hanging out with someone, it doesn't have to be filled with incessant talking. Silence and quiet and space to let it live is okay. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And again, I don't need answers. I don't need any verses quoted to me. I've taught them. I know the verses. I'm just looking for something that feels more alive, more awake for where I'm at, and a chance to hang out and meet the living God that I believe is there, and see what, if anything, he wants to say to me today, how he wants to change me or encourage, embolden, or reveal, and those things. So thank you, and I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.